A very good afternoon. Thanks for clicking on to the Saturday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. A very quick look, first and foremost, at the climatereanalyzer.org site. Very good site indeed. And what is interesting about this particular spell, temperature-wise, globally, is that despite a lot of the warmth that we're talking about at the moment across Western Europe, across up here across northern portions of Europe, extending into the northwest of Asia, and we are also talking about an impending brutal heat wave across the western half of the United States. What is less catching the attention is the cold that we've got, basically just brutally shivering the whole of Antarctica at the moment. And what that is doing is that, in a sense, is tipping the balance in terms of global temperature. So today, this is the GFS interpretation of the average temperature globally for today. And if you scroll down, you can see that it's a bang on exactly average. So while there's a lot of talk, of course, ongoing, especially at this time of the year, about heat and the earth warming up, it's interesting to see that the warmth that we're seeing across the planet right now is getting essentially averaged out, because we've got temperatures about 6 to 8 Celsius below normal. Now, bear in mind, we're getting near the shortest day of the year here in Antarctica in the southern hemisphere. To get a 6 to 8 Celsius below normal temperature in such a huge area is a massive story, and a very, very interesting one at that. In fact, the average temperature, I tweeted this morning, the average temperature yesterday, according to this chart, was actually below normal when you encompass the whole temperature, the average temperature of the planet here. Because if you look here, although we're 0.6 above normal in the northern hemisphere, and we've got nearly a degree above normal in the Arctic, of course, there's a lot of warmth at the moment over the Arctic region. What tends to not be mentioned is the fact that the southern hemisphere is below normal, minus 0.6 Celsius, and we've got Antarctica at minus 6.9 Celsius, so minus 6 below normal in Antarctica. So that is a big deal. And interestingly enough as well, even if you look at the tropics, the hottest region of the planet, it's actually only 0.3 Celsius above normal here. So it's interesting really when you look at the big picture here, because of course there's a lot of focus at the moment on Western Europe and the heat and the impending heat that we have coming up, especially tomorrow. But I like to show you things. I like to show you the big picture, things that aren't being shown overly in the mainstream weather community, in the mainstream media. A lot of focus on temperature and warm temperature. But let's remember, folks, that there is cold as well as warm, and Antarctica is absolutely brutal in terms of cold at the moment here. But back to the UK, a lot of focus and attention, and rightly so, on the temperatures, particularly the southeastern half of the UK. I know that some northerners would be kind of saying that, there's a lot of mention about the southeast, about London, in terms of heat, and there is more to the UK than just the southeast. But what is interesting is the temperature is going to knock on the door of 30 Celsius tomorrow, and the big deal about that is the fact that the 13th of June, which of course is tomorrow, is the only date in the meteorological summer calendar in the UK where the temperature has failed to reach 30 Celsius. And a lot of forecast models are indicating we could reach the first 30 on record in the UK tomorrow afternoon. It will certainly come close. I think the date record for tomorrow is 28.8, I think, or somewhere in that region anyway. And, a lot of the models are indicating that we at least break the date record of that by maybe a 29. We're going to get, I think it'll get either just shy of it, maybe about 29.8 or something like that, or it'll go above it, and we might even push 31 Celsius somewhere within the Greater London area. So it's going to be all eyes on the southeast tomorrow. Even up across Aberdeenshire, we might see a temperature of 26, maybe even 27, factoring in the Fern effect. But certainly it will warm up. It's about 25 today, and then we are going to see the temperature probably widely get to about between 25 and 26 across the heart of England, and then somewhere within the region, I think between in a triangle between Birmingham, Cardiff, Bristol, across to London, somewhere within this region here could approach the 30 Celsius mark for the first time for the 13th of June. But again, the big question is this: we're going to warm things up. Are we going to hold on to this warmth? And the answer to me is no. We do hold on to a few warmer days still across the south. Temperatures into the upper 20s, for example, on Monday. But I think we are going to start to see things cooling off, and we are going to see the return of low pressure eventually as well. Because you can see here off the GFS ensemble, what eventually takes place is we get the little bulge of high pressure that builds into the UK briefly tomorrow. Then that area of high pressure then pushes up towards Scandinavia, and then we're going to start to see a building of lower pressure to the west of the UK. Now what is going to happen is we're going to have a little bit of resistance from the high that builds over Scandinavia. We're not going to see an area of low pressure just simply plough in to the UK. What we're going to see is we're going to start to see a trough deep into the west of the UK, and essentially that ridge over Scandinavia will try to push back the area of low pressure in the trough to the west of the UK. So we're going to have a bit of a battle here between low pressure to the west, high pressure to the east. But I think what is eventually going to happen is low pressure will eventually win out. And what we're going to do is we're going to then shift the heat eastwards, and we're going to introduce more Atlantic air once again, as well as more unsettled weather across the British Isles here. So we'll watch and see what happens over the coming days. But I do think we start to see the pattern breaking somewhat. I'm not saying that we're going to all of a sudden have day after day of rain, wind, and cold temperatures. I don't think that's going to be the case. But I think we're going to lose the kind of very stable weather that we've got at the moment. We're going to start to see things a little bit fresher, a little bit damper, and also the chance of some more wind as well. So we'll wait and see what happens. But that's it for today. Hope you have a great rest of your Saturday, a great rest of your weekend, and I'll be back as usual in the next couple of days. Bye bye.